Good morning and welcome to another podcast of Iconic Freedom, The Formula. We are talking about setting standards for accountability and responsibility in this journey of personal development. Let each care for self and all will be cared for. And welcome to another podcast. So for this weekend's podcast, I'm actually taking the holiday off, but I wanted to direct your attention to actually another podcast that I listened to this week with filmmaker Mikki Willis. So he created part 1, 2, and then the recent one is part 3 called The Awakening. But what I found fascinating about his appearance on Kyle Seraphin's podcast this week is when you listen to it, I know I watched his Plandemic movie before, but I didn't remember it as much. And then this podcast actually kind of turned me on to the idea that I wanted to watch it again. But what was kind of interesting for me was how much, well, I don't want to lead the witness. Let's do this. Listen to the podcast. It is a little long, so, I used it for me for walking 2 mornings in a row so that I could hear it all. But and then next weekend I will break some of it down to talk about it. But I thought it was really remarkable. I thought his transition from whence he came to where he is now, especially in his role of accountability and responsibility, and, his support for one presidential candidate over another, I thought was really great. So the link is going to be down in the comments section. So, jump onto that. There is a part 2, and you can listen to that. It repeats just a little bit of the part 1. And then goes into the part 2 of it. I didn't think, for me personally, I didn't think part 2 was as great as part 1, but it was mainly because they went off into some other subject matter that wasn't that probably as interesting to me. So that's my bias on that one. Anyways, I hope you have a great Labor Day weekend. Enjoy it with your family and your friends. Go out and do something healthy, and make sure that you remember to stay accountable and responsible to yourself first and foremost. Have a great weekend. And we are at the end of another podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Hit that like button if you would. Share this with your friends and family. You never know what they might get out of this. If you'd like to subscribe, feel free to do so. You can do that on the website, link down below. My email is there, so if you have a situation that you'd like me to cover on the podcast, that would be awesome. I'd be happy to do that. Send me an email.